Welcome back, everyone. I'm going to make this welcome to our patch door hanger. I got this file from Kim and Garrett Make It, and of course, they've probably done a better video than I'll do on this, but I really think it's really cute. So I'm showing you kind of how the file comes. The blue is, I believe, scoring, and I believe the red is to cut. So I'm just trying to kind of figure out the file because it's the first time I've used it. So what I like to do is make sure that the backer is cut out of 1/4 inch MDF, and I have an XTOOL S1 20 watt, which is not really meant to cut MDF. So XTOOL, if you ever want to send me a P2, I wouldn't cry about that. But anyway, I have figured out how to um, cut 1/4 inch MDF. So I cut it at 100% power, 3 speed, and 2 passes, and then I lower the thingy to 3 millimeters. It took me a lot of tries before I got it right. Now it cuts great. So all I'm doing is I'm moving this top part to a different layer, which is what you just saw me do. I moved it to a purple layer and I set it to ignore because the first thing we're going to do is score and cut the 1/4 inch MDF. And the top, I'm going to use a 1/8 inch MDF. So I don't want that on the same layer because I'm not going to do it at the same time. So you can see me doing the settings right there, lowering the focus and all that stuff. The settings I use for scoring, obviously you just kind of want enough of a score where you're going to be able to see it after you paint it. So I like to use 60 power, 20 speed, and 1 pass. And again, I have the 20 watt. It's still a pretty deep score, but that way if I paint it, I can find it again. And then for the 3 millimeter or 1/8 inch MDF, I cut that at 100% power, 6 speed, and 1 pass. So those are the settings, and I have them in the description box as well. So that's kind of what I'm doing, is I'm just kind of sharing my screen with you as I kind of figure all this out and get it set up to run the file. I don't think I actually slowed it all the way down to 20. Oh, yeah, I did. Anyway, this is a super cute file. I'm a Patreon member of Kim and Garrett, and I personally, I don't like paying for things monthly, but I'm in the master tier, and I think it's totally worth it because for one, they create a ton of files that you get to use, and they provide a lot of good teaching content too. So, but you can just buy the file from their store. You don't have to be a Patreon member. Once it's available in their store, you can buy it. I don't know if it is yet or not, but anyway, that's where I got it from, and I think it's adorable. So, I'm going to kind of walk you through the painting process in a little bit, but I don't always get a chance to record the screen as I'm layering things and getting the file set up. And for a new XTOOL user, I think that's super helpful because when I was new, I was like, what the heck do I do? Anyway, I hope that you enjoy it. Now XTOOL has updated the software again, so all the things I'm showing you are in a completely different place. But if you're new to XTOOL, um, it's you will get used to XCS. It actually is very easy to use once you kind of figure out what means what. And but that's why I try to make longer videos sometimes to show you, like, what would you use. So you can save your custom settings, make it easier for yourself. Unlike me, I usually go back and find an old file of something I've done and look at what I did, but sometimes the settings reset and then you're like, oh crap, what did I do? So anyway, that's the reason I try to share this with you sometimes, is because as a newbie, I was lost at first, and this would have really helped me. I am an affiliate of XTOOL. I think they're an amazing company. I have my link below if you are looking to buy a laser, trade in an old laser. Please use my link, even if you're buying supplies. It would really help the channel. And I appreciate all that XTOOL does for creators, and it'd be a good way to give back to them. If you are looking to buy a laser for the first time, the S1 is a great laser and it's very versatile. the limitations that you'll face with a diode laser is it can't cut certain acrylic, like anything clear. It doesn't do too well with white either. And with a 20 watt, you're going to be limited on the thickness of wood. But I'm able to cut 1/4 inch MDF, which is great. At some point, I would love to get a CO2 laser because I'm an artist and I like to cut my own substrates and that kind of thing. And I like to not be too limited by the kind of wood. And I would like to do, fun projects with clear acrylic and stuff. But this has been a really fun way to start. I do have a lot more content to edit for you, so. Okay, apparently the audio I recorded was super low. So I'm gonna have to, with my new camera my husband bought me, I'm gonna have to record using headphones or a mic or something. Anyway, this is the backer. You can see the score lines, and you can see that they're pretty deep. So we're going to probably use some paint that I had colored for a different project, which is a titanium white acrylic paint that I put like a drop or two of chocolate drop, I think, from Colourarte, just to make it kind of a tan color. So we're going to use a foam roller and just roll that on. I'm still learning not to use too much paint, but to try to keep your sides clean, which I still have trouble with. The kicker is use just enough paint to get your roller wet, and that's the idea. So we're going to get that going, and it's kind of a nice, that's what I love about mixing your own color. Like, are there chalk paint colors that would be like, yes. But do I want to have a tub of paint for every neutral color I'm ever going to need? Probably not, because I don't have endless storage. But I love that I can mix my own colors, and that's one of the reasons I do these videos. Like, I didn't create this file. It's not like you can go buy this file, but it is a super cute file. But this is also a way that I can go back and say, okay, what did I do to get that color? And can I do it again? And so it's a fun way for me to keep track of it and share color ideas, like we all learn from each other this way. So I'm going to speed this part up because, it's just painting. But you can see those score lines through that paint. That's what we want, right? Just enough so we can still see them. All right, so just keep making sure we have coverage. Again, the goal is light amount of paint on the roller. It's better to have to go over it twice than to have it dripping over the sides. I'm still learning. I try not to be too picky about the sides, but you can buy like an oil-based Sharpie marker. They have one that has like a chisel edge, and it does help if you get too much on the sides and you want to try to clean it up. For this one, I just cleaned up the bottom where the layering was. So yeah, I let this dry, and it doesn't take very long. MDF absorbs quite nicely and quickly. And one of the things I like about using MDF is it takes paint very well. And it doesn't tend to warp as much as like a plywood. So if I use plywood, I use it as a topper versus a backer. So yeah, I'm just using whatever I have left in my cup to cover places that may not have had good coverage. One thing that was kind of stinky is up here where these little slats are. After I had already run out of paint and sprayed it with a top coat, I guess it was the top coat itself caused a little of the discoloring to yellow on the top, just enough to be annoying. And I didn't have any paint left to clean that up. The color I had mixed for my next sign was darker, and I first tried to use it, and it was very obvious. So I took a chalk pen, and I just kind of blended around it and just kind of covered it a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's better than me overworking it and making a mess out of it. So now we'll just let this dry, and after it's dried, I put these pieces together. So what I usually do is set it aside, and while it's drying, I work on something else. So this first color I'm using is called Royal Violet. This is from Colourarte. It's a purely pigments color. Basically, it's a red violet. And it may have been a bold choice to go with such bright, deep colors, but I thought, why not use a warm purple instead of like a green or a brown for this area? So sometimes I just kind of figure this out as I'm going. So this says, welcome to our patch. This is the topper for the pumpkins. I am going to do the pumpkins in sort of an orange color, but I thought that this was a nice way to keep everything from being just super orange, because I'm not a huge fan of just orange, and bring that red violet color into the other color. And this is Cyan Aqua. This is also a purely pigments color. It's a nice turquoise teal color. So I'm going to use that color for welcome and for patch. And I'm also going to use it for 2 of the 6 leaves that go along that red violet edge. When I first did that, I was like, this may be way too different. But in the end, it really looks nice. So before you doubt me, hang with me. Now with purely pigments, for the most part, they're very transparent, so you might need a couple of coats. So what I'm mixing it into is some untinted paint. In this case, I actually used Polypore from Colourarte, but you could use untinted house paint, indoor or outdoor. I have outdoor or external paint as well. So it might take a couple coats, but that doesn't bother me. And so meanwhile, my red violet plate has dried. So instead of getting a different plate, I'm going to use that again. So this color is called Bit of Honey, also from Colourarte. It's a beautiful, like golden yellow. And it's kind of perfect for fall, and it looks really nice with that red violet and that blue color. So, and then I'm going to use Aztec yellow, which is kind of an orangey yellow. I also got a blood orange color out, but I didn't use it, but that also would have been pretty cool. So I'm going to use that Bit of Honey for 2 of my 6 leaves, and then I'm going to use this Aztec yellow as my orange for my pumpkin backer and the other 2 leaves. And I also end up covering, I wasn't getting great coverage on that 2R because some of the charring was kind of bleeding into the color. So I went over it a little bit while I still had some paint on my roller. So it wasn't my original plan, but it was fine. And so as you can see, I'm just kind of going over those things as they dry. So as I'm doing this, my first piece is dry. So I've got the 3M double-sided tape on the back. So I'm just slowly peeling that off and then placing it where I have my score marks. Some of that I'm a little off camera, but I think you guys know how to peel tape. So I also had my camera aware, so I'm sorry I was a little bit out of frame. So same thing with the leaves. The leaves also have the 3M backer, so I'm just making sure I'm kind of dry fitting them to make sure that they're in the right place where I'm going to want them to go, and that I don't accidentally put a leaf where it doesn't go and then it's there forever. So you see me kind of continue to rearrange things like, no, this doesn't go here, it goes here. And then this is kind of the easy part, and it's kind of nice because once you have it all colored, you can kind of see it all come together. And so it's sort of like a nice coloring project, if you will. So once I started putting it together, I was like, okay, these colors are going to work. But when I first did it, I was like, maybe this red violet was way too bright for this color palette. Maybe I really kind of needed a more demure background. But once I put it together, I was like, nope, I love it. But at first, I really questioned myself. I knew the colors would go nicely together because they're all warm colors. Well, the cyan aqua is not necessarily warm, but it works, you know. But I knew that the red violet would work because it has more of a red shade than a blue shade, so I knew it would work. And I love the way aqua looks with fall colors. I think it adds a nice pop of color so everything's not so orange and brown. I don't mind all the fall colors, but I still like there to be a pop of color. So that's what I like about this color scheme. And there's our little pumpkins, and I love the way those look. And yeah, so I think this turned out really good. You'll have to let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching.